Why do your kind messages get ignored while her inbox lights up for someone else? You text her, wait, nothing. Was it something you said or something you didn't? Every word you type matters, but if it doesn't spark emotion, it disappears into silence. Have you ever sent a message to a woman and then stared at your phone for what feels like forever? Maybe hours, maybe days, only to get a dry, one-word reply, or worse, complete silence. You wait, you overthink. You start replaying your message in your head, wondering if you said something wrong. And then comes that familiar urge. Should I text again? Not to push her, just to break the silence, just to feel seen. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. This is a silent struggle many men face today. They reach out with sincerity. They try to show genuine interest. They put in effort, but instead of pulling her closer, they feel her slipping further away. The harder they try, the more distant she becomes. And here's where most men unknowingly mess up. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And more importantly, it's how it makes her feel. You could send a text that's logical, respectful, even thoughtful. But if it doesn't touch her emotions, if it doesn't make her feel something, it gets lost. It becomes background noise in a sea of notifications. Because attraction isn't built through politeness. It's built through emotion, through feeling. This isn't about being clever. It's not a game of smooth lines or manipulation. It's about awareness. It's about presence. And this is where Stoic philosophy becomes your most powerful ally. The Stoics taught us to master one fundamental truth. Control only what you can. You can't control how someone reacts. You can't force a reply. You can't predict her mood when she reads your text. But you can control how you show up. You can control your energy. You can control your intention. You can control your words and the impact they carry. Because texting isn't just communication, it's projection, it's emotional influence, it's modern leadership delivered through a screen. In this video, we're going to break down 3 powerful texting secrets that trigger natural attraction. These aren't tricks. They're timeless principles rooted in psychology, emotional intelligence, and Stoic clarity. Apply them and you'll stop chasing attention. You'll start commanding respect. And most importantly, you'll start building real, meaningful connection. So the real question is, how do you shift the dynamic and take back control of the conversation? Let's start with secret number 1. Texts that trigger curiosity. Curiosity is one of the strongest forces in human psychology. When something sparks your interest, your mind locks on. It needs answers. It craves closure. That magnetic feeling of I need to know more. It drives people to finish novels in one sitting, binge watch series, and click on headlines they just can't ignore. And it's exactly why some texts get instant replies, while others sit unread. The problem is, most men unknowingly destroy curiosity from the very first message. They send texts like, "How was your day? What are you up to? Hope you're having a great weekend." Polite, yes. Engaging, not really. These kinds of messages don't open loops. They don't build anticipation. They give her nothing to lean into, nothing to emotionally invest in. And when there's no emotional tension, there's no reason to respond. But that's something we're going to fix right now. The truth is, most texts fall flat because they create no emotional loop. They're too easy to ignore. Polite, yes, but forgettable. Why? Because they spark no desire to reply. Now, think about this. What happens when you receive a message like, I just realized something interesting about you. You won't believe what happened today. You did something unexpected. In my dream last night, your brain doesn't just read it, it reacts, it locks in, it starts searching for answers, it wants to fill the gap. And that psychological gap, the need to know more, is exactly what triggers a response. That's what most men miss. They reveal too much, too fast. They try so hard to sound nice, to be liked. But in doing so, they erase the mystery. And what does mystery do? It creates movement. The less you explain, the more she wants to know. This isn't manipulation, it's basic human psychology. And believe it or not, the Stoics knew this long before texting even existed. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not necessary, do not say it." You don't need to you don't need to fill every silence. You don't need to prove your worth through words. You just need to speak with intention when it comes to texting. The less you say, the more power your words carry. The key is to write messages that spark a question, not those that answer everything instead of texting. I had a strange day. Try saying, "Something reminded me of you today," in the weirdest way. Want to guess what it was? Now she's involved. Now she's curious. Now she's mentally leaning forward. And when she asks, "What happened?" don't answer directly. Not yet. Keep her engaged. Keep her wondering. You could respond with, "It's a little strange. But let me ask you this first. Have you ever had someone pop into your head right before something unusual happened?" Now she's not just replying, she's reflecting. She's sharing her own thoughts. And that is how you build. Chemistry, curiosity opens the door. Emotional involvement walks her through. Most men rush the process. They try to impress too quickly. They believe more messages equals more attention. But texting more isn't the solution. Texting with purpose is. You want to be the man who makes her pause, the man who interrupts her daily pattern, the one who makes her feel something different, something she doesn't feel with others. So before you hit send, ask yourself, does this message create a question in her mind? Or will this just disappear into the noise like all the others? Curiosity isn't about tricks. It's about creating space, room for interest to grow. It's about knowing how the mind works and using that understanding to form real connection. Apply this shift, and you'll feel the difference. More engagement, more thoughtful replies, more emotional investment. Because, in the end, you're not here to entertain. You're here to connect. And curiosity, that's the doorway. Walk through it with confidence. Now let's move to secret number 2. Texts that create anticipation. If curiosity catches her attention, anticipation is what makes her stay. When a woman anticipates something exciting, her brain releases dopamine, the same feel-good chemical that fuels motivation and joy. It's the reason we look forward to birthdays, surprises, and vacations. It's not just about what happens. It's about the feeling of waiting for something good. And here's the twist. Most men kill anticipation before it can even build. They say things like, "I planned a fun date for us. I got you something today." These messages are sweet, but they leave nothing to the imagination. There's no tension, no build-up, no emotional momentum. She reads it, smiles politely, and forgets it by lunch. But what if you could build suspense the right way? What if every time she saw your name on her screen, she felt excited, not obligated? This is where Stoic wisdom helps again. Epictetus taught that delayed gratification is a form of strength. that restraint is power. And in texting, that power is magnetic. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to hold back just a little. Because when you leave space for her imagination to breathe, you invite her into the moment. You're not just giving her information, you're giving her something to feel. You're allowing her mind to engage with yours, even when she's not replying. Let's break this down with an example. Instead of sending a flat message like, "I got you something today," try this instead. "I saw something today that instantly reminded me of you." Want to guess what it was? Now she's not just reading a message, she's part of the interaction. You've created a mini mystery, a playful riddle, a space for her curiosity to step in. She's thinking, she's guessing, and most importantly, she's thinking about you, even if her fingers haven't typed a reply yet. If you truly want to build anticipation, speak with direction, but never reveal too much too soon. Instead of saying, "I have something to tell you," say, "If I told you what I just realized about you, you wouldn't believe it." Want to hear it? Now her mind starts racing. What did he realize? Is it good? Is it deep? Is it personal? This kind of message makes her wait, makes her wonder, and that wonder creates emotional attachment. Here's the golden rule of anticipation: never give it all away. Even when she asks, if she replies, "Tell me," don't drop the full answer immediately. Tease a little. Keep the play alive. You could say, "I could," but where's the fun in that? Take a wild guess first. That slight delay, that gentle refusal creates tension, and tension is unforgettable. It turns a normal text thread into a dynamic exchange, a moment she feels, not just reads. Men who master this understand a deep truth. People don't remember every word. They remember how you made them feel. If your messages are predictable, overly comfortable, or easy to categorize, she might like you, but she won't chase you. But if your messages stir excitement, tension, curiosity, she'll start looking forward to your texts. Not just replying, craving your presence. That's the difference between a man who gets ignored and a man who leaves a lasting impression. It's not about clever phrases. It's about timing, delivery, and emotional rhythm. You want her checking her phone. You want her anticipating your next message, even before you send it. That's when she's invested. And here's where Stoicism returns as your guide. The Stoics never said, "Ignore emotions." They said, "Control them, shape them, guide them with wisdom." That's what you're doing here. You're directing her emotions intentionally, not with manipulation, but with calm clarity. You're shaping her experience of you through your digital presence. Think of it this way. You're not just texting, you're telling a story. And what does every great story have? A setup, a pause, and a reveal. If you rush to the end, there's no thrill. But if you let the suspense build, if you allow the tension to grow, you create something magnetic. It's like emotional gravity. She feels drawn toward you, without you ever chasing. This isn't about being tricky. It's about being aware. It's the art of a man who understands psychology. A man who knows his value. A man who doesn't rush to impress because he knows the power of patience. Apply this, and you'll feel the difference. Your words will gain weight. Your presence will leave an impact. And she won't just respond. She'll look forward to hearing from you. Now let's move to secret number 3. Compliments that actually work. Most men believe that giving a compliment is the fastest way to win a woman's attention. But that's not how real attraction works. Yes, compliments can be powerful when they come from awareness, authenticity, and timing. But most compliments fail. Why? Because they're too shallow, too common, too eager. Telling a woman, "You're beautiful," sounds kind, but if she hears it all the time, it becomes meaningless. Just noise, another forgettable line in an endless stream of DMIs. Even phrases like, "You're so gorgeous," "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." They might sound sweet, but they don't reach her heart. They feel generic. Worse, they feel lazy, and in her mind, you become just another guy saying what every other guy says. But here's where we shift perspectives. Let's think like a Stoic. Seneca once said, "We must praise not what is common, but what is rare." And what is rare in a woman is not just her appearance, it's her mindset, her presence, her perspective. When you notice and compliment something deeper than her looks, you stand out. You separate yourself from the crowd. You become memorable. So how do you do that? Start by focusing on who she is, not just how she looks. Compliment the way she thinks, the way she carries herself, the energy she brings into a room. When you take the time to notice and speak about how she makes others feel, you're saying something that few people ever do. Try something like, "I really love the way you see the world. Most people don't think the way you do." Or, "There's a calm presence about you." It's rare to find someone who makes others feel at ease without even trying. These compliments hit differently. They're not about her looks, they're about who she truly is. And that makes her feel seen in a way that most people never make her feel. But timing matters too. Don't just toss out compliments like candy. Wait for the right moment when she shares something real. For example, if she opens up about her goals, "I respect how committed you are. A lot of people talk about dreams, but you actually follow through." If she shares something vulnerable, "I appreciate how open you are." Most people hide that part of themselves. These compliments aren't just true, they're thoughtful. They require you to actually listen. And that's what builds emotional connection. Stoic philosophy reminds us, observe before you speak. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life." Now apply that to communication. The quality of your words reflects the quality of your attention. When you notice what makes her unique and speak from that awareness, you create a kind of connection that physical compliments simply can't touch. And here's one more reason this works so well. When you compliment her mind, her energy, or her actions, you're also revealing your own values. You show her that you're not chasing beauty. You're attracted to depth. You value self-awareness. You admire discipline, and you're drawn to what lasts, not what fades. That makes you rare. And women notice that they remember the man who saw them for who they are, not just how they look. They remember the man whose words made them feel valued on a deeper level. This doesn't mean you should never compliment her appearance. It means when you do, make it specific and authentic. Not, "You're pretty," but instead, "There's something calm in your smile." The way you walk into a room shows confidence, without arrogance. Every compliment is an opportunity, either to build connection or break it. Most men use compliments to seek validation, but the wise man uses them to reflect understanding. He's not trying to get something. He's offering recognition. Remember this, don't compliment to impress. Compliment to express. Express what you see. Express what you admire. Express what truly matters to you. And you'll find your words start to carry real weight. She won't just say thank you. She'll look at you differently. And when you combine all three principles, curiosity, anticipation, and authentic compliments. You stop being just another guy texting for attention. You become someone who communicates with presence, emotional clarity, and impact. Now that you understand how to spark curiosity, build anticipation, and give meaningful compliments, it's time to tie it all together. Because at the core of all this, it's not just about texting. It's about how you carry yourself, how you think, and how you choose to connect with others. That mindset is what sets you apart. The truth is, texting isn't about being clever. It's not about saying the perfect thing to win someone over. It's about creating emotion. It's about understanding the rhythm of human nature and communicating with presence, patience, and purpose. When you send a message, you're always doing one of three things. You're either sparking curiosity, building anticipation, or making someone feel seen and valued. If your messages do none of those, they're easy to ignore, easy to forget. They disappear into the noise of her inbox like they were never there. But here's the deeper truth. According to Stoic philosophy, everything we do should be done with clear intention. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." That means the anxiety you feel after being ignored, that sinking feeling in your chest, the overthinking, the self-doubt. It's not always about what you sent. It's about what your mind created after. The message wasn't the problem. Your attachment to the response, that's where the suffering lives. But when you begin to approach communication with clarity and purpose, that anxiety starts to dissolve. You stop obsessing. You stop spiraling. You begin responding, not reacting. So let's revisit what you've now learned. First, spark curiosity. Don't reveal everything up front. Leave emotional gaps. Ask questions that open loops. Questions that make her pause, wonder, and lean in. Let her mind stay engaged. Let her want to know more. Second, build anticipation. Don't rush. Don't spill everything in the first text. Create suspense. Drop hints. Make her guess. Let her feel that delicious tension of not knowing yet. That's how desire is built, not in answers, but in the wait. Third, give genuine compliments. Not surface-level comments on looks, but deep, mindful praise for her mindset, energy, and character. Point out what makes her different. Notice what others miss. That's how you build emotional depth. Not just attention, but connection. These aren't tricks. These are timeless principles, and they work because they reflect something real. Because most women, they don't want more clever words. They want more presence. They want to feel something when they read your message. They want to be surprised. They want to be challenged. They want to feel seen, understood, and you can give them that. Not by trying harder, but by thinking smarter. By texting with calm confidence, not needy approval seeking. You're not here to chase anyone. You're here to connect with intention, to lead with to communicate like a man who respects himself enough to speak with power, patience, and poise. From this point forward, every message you send should serve one of three purposes. Make her curious, make her excited, make her feel appreciated. That's your new standard. That's the Stoic approach to texting. Because a man who texts with clarity doesn't worry about being ignored. He doesn't count the minutes after hitting send. He doesn't spiral into self-doubt. He knows who he is. He knows what he brings. And if she doesn't respond, he doesn't chase. He reflects. He adapts. He moves forward. That is the power of the Stoic mindset. It gives you peace where others feel panic, control where others feel chaos, presence in a world drowning in noise. Texting is not a game. It's a skill. And when done with intention, it can build trust, attraction, and true connection. But only if you bring the right mindset, not desperation, not anxiety, but discipline, awareness, and self-respect. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect message. Don't wait for someone else to make the first move. You are in control. You choose how you show up. And when you get it right, you won't need to chase validation, because you won't be sending texts to impress, you'll be creating impact. What you've just learned isn't just a texting strategy. It's a mirror, a reflection of your mindset, your values, and how you choose to carry yourself in every interaction. Because communication, true communication, is never just about words. It's about presence. And presence doesn't come from trying. It comes from knowing. Too many men live in reactivity. They send a text, then wait. They overanalyze the delay. They question their worth based on whether they get a reply. But that's not strength. That's not clarity. That's not Stoicism. From now on, you don't communicate to impress. You communicate to express, to lead, to embody. You don't toss words into the void, hoping for a reaction. You speak with purpose, knowing that your words carry weight. Every time you send a message, you face two paths. You can choose your words carefully and intentionally, in a way that reflects the man you're becoming. Or you can speak from emotional impulse, letting insecurity drive what you say. That's what it means to apply Stoicism in the modern world. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about learning to face your emotions with clarity, to guide them, instead of being swept away by them, to hold space for them without letting them control you. Marcus Aurelius didn't teach us to withdraw from life. He taught us to engage with life more deeply. He once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That applies directly to texting, because every message you send, you're either reinforcing your values or abandoning them. You're either leading the conversation or reacting to it. You're either building genuine connection or seeking empty validation. There's no in-dash between. So here's your challenge. Before you send your next message, pause. Ask yourself, does this reflect the man I'm becoming? Does this message serve a purpose? Does it spark curiosity, build anticipation, or make her feel genuinely seen? If the answer is no, don't send it. Rewrite it. Refocus. Speak from clarity, not craving. Reset your standard. You're not here to play small. You're not here to be just pleasant or nice. You're here to walk in your values, to show up with quiet strength, not loud insecurity. And when you do, something shifts. The energy of your conversations begins to change. People respond to you differently. They can feel your presence even before they read your words. That's not a trick. That's truth. That's power. Stop chasing reactions. Start commanding respect, not through force, but through presence, through intention. By being the kind of man who doesn't need to convince anyone, because his energy already speaks for itself. And if this message has resonated with you, don't just nod and move on. Take action. Apply one principle from what you learned. Today, notice the shift. Then apply another dot. Make this your new practice. Every message, every interaction, every day, live it, practice it, own it. And from this moment forward, every word you send will carry weight. Every message becomes a mirror of the man you're choosing to become.